Luckily, the laughs don't come with long-distance fees. Here's your look at the brand new Jakks Pacific, the Simpsons Moe's Tavern prank phone. Immerse yourself in Springfield with the Moe's Tavern prank phone. The prank phone has 2 modes of play and features 10 classic prank calls and phrases from multiple characters like Bart, Homer, and of course Moe himself. In mode 1, pick up the phone's receiver, and when you hear the tone, just dial any 7 digits to hear random prank calls from various Simpsons episodes. Just make sure to dial all 7 numbers, or you could be in for a surprise. In mode 2, the prank phone will randomly call you and play the prank calls once you pick up. Perfect for fans and collectors. Laugh along and relive Moe's frustration with some of the classic prank calls made to Moe's Tavern. I think while somebody's looking for a huge ass, let's take the tape measure and let's see how big the new Jakks Pacific Moe's Tavern prank phone is by, of course, making use of this tape measure. Now, it's huge ass. Huge ass. Big guy. Doesn't matter. We're going to take the tape measure. If you are, by the way, familiar with the 80s style of phones, whether it be the rotary, which would be the more difficult way of dialing out to your friends, or the more simpler route of pressing several buttons, you're pretty much going to be knowing what size this phone is going to be. If you're one, though, that likes to carry around your phones, and that's the only way that you've reached out to touch someone, then you're probably going to be not as familiar with this design of phone. We're going to kind of go through the territory of what would be a receiver, what would be several buttons, and of course all the fun things that go along with this. But going back to the idea that I had in mind, let's grab the tape measure. We're going to go from one end of the receiver to the other. It's about 8 inches in width, or it's going to be roughly about 20 centimeters wide. As for though its height, from the bottom to its top, you're going to be looking at it being about 5.5 inches, or roughly 14 centimeters tall. I had actually picked up the phone, figuratively of course, from Entertainment Earth, and seems right now to be the cheapest place to find the Moe's Tavern phone. It was $39.99. Other online sites selling literally the same phone were selling it for $45.99, so Entertainment Earth seems right now to be your best bet. The phone is designed off of the Moe's Tavern phone that we see in several episodes and seasons of The Simpsons, although the color of the phone, depending on the episodes, may change. Sometimes Moe's Tavern's phone actually looks like it's gray, other times it looks like it's purple and even orange. But it has been at least red, and I think red works the best for the color. Obviously, it's also going to be one that's a functional phone in the sense that it does have a receiver that can be lifted from the rest of the base. The phone does have, though, audio clips, and all are requiring 3 AAA batteries. The batteries, luckily, are already installed by Jakks Pacific, and if you look at the bottom of the phone, we're going to just flip this carefully over. Here right now is where the battery compartment is. You're just going to have to unscrew this. I really hate having to unscrew battery covers every single time. I know it's for the safety of the children. What about the children everybody is worrying about? But just unscrew this, then you'll gain access to the battery compartment. 3 AAA batteries are all actually inside of this. There normally would have been a little protective plastic or a little restraining plastic piece. And yet, though, it wasn't actually on this phone. It may have been just left off deliberately so you could actually cycle through the Try Me settings, as that's one of the available 3. You have Try, which is the default setting when it's still in the box. You have Off, and then you have On. I've already switched it to On, and then from there, there's actually a Mode 1 and a Mode 2. Just flipping over the... Oh, by the way, the phone does have these speaker sections right here, but it seems also to be loud through the receiver as well. The front of the phone does have the Moe's Tavern business card. You can see it says Springfield, USA. It also has a Klondike 51230. I think that's actually the number right there. Moe's Tavern, free parking in back, open 7 days a week. I think that this is fun. Moe's Tavern, formerly Moe's Cavern, New Ranch free. Or New Roach free, I should say. They've got tape on the side here. The tape doesn't actually serve a purpose other than just making it look like the card is actually attached to the front of the phone. If you want to take the tape off, the tape is removable, but then this basically would just be a sticker on the front. It's not the thing that's actually keeping the card in place. As you can see, it's more of a sticker. The thing that's kind of interesting about the phone is that it does have 2 modes. It has a Mode 1 where you can actually dial out and actually speak to Moe, or there's also an option 2, a Mode 2, where the phone calls you. If you wanted to actually start it with just the Try settings, I'm going to switch it over here. This is the easiest way to actually reach out and touch Moe, literally, of course, not, well, figuratively, of course. Once you set it to Try, you can actually press any one of the buttons, and you'll cycle through some of the audio clips, a totaling of 10. Pressing one of the buttons.
Yeah, hello, is Mike there? Last name, Roch. Hold on, I'll check. Mike Roch! Mike Roch! Hey, has anybody seen Mike Roch lately?
Sorry. Pressing the button again, actually one other thing I did want to show you is not only can you press a different button, but if you lift the receiver, you can end the audio at any time. That's just, though, the Try Me button, or Try Me option. What you can do, though, is switch it over to on. And we're just going to switch it back over to 1 here. On the back, by the way, of the phone does have Mode 1 and Mode 2. Mode 1 is where you can dial out and reach out to Mo directly. Mode 2 is where the phone starts calling you. The phone itself, just before we actually talk a little bit about the settings, is fairly light. It also does have a dial tone. You probably can already hear for yourself. But it's not a super heavy phone. Obviously, it doesn't have the heavier makings of what the old 80s phones would be. But it's got still a decent weight to it. It really was an odd oddity for Jakks Pacific to release a Moe's Tavern phone, because I kind of think to myself, do I really need a Moe's Tavern phone? The answer is to that, yes. And I think all of you really deserve to have this as part of your collection. So while we have this in mode setting 1, which again is the setting on the back here, you can switch it from 1 to 2. You can pick up the receiver, and we're going to make a call right now. You may be able to hear right away, it's already got a dial tone, and then you have to go through pressing 7 buttons. It doesn't have to be it doesn't really matter which buttons you press, but let's go with 1, 2, 3.
Come on, guys. Do I have a BO problem here? Listen, you. When I get a hold of you, I'm gonna use your head for a bucket and paint my house with your brain.
And also the audio, for the most part, is a little more muffled because it's simply coming from the speaker on the bottom of the phone. The thing that's kind of interesting about this, too, is that you don't have to dial all 7 buttons. If, for example, you decide you want to press only 1 to 6 buttons, you get an interesting little Easter egg, and it does involve a little bit of time on our part to kind of sit here and wait. Let's just pick up the phone and do that again. So we're going to press the button. You sort of already got the Easter egg here, but let's say we only press, let's say 4 buttons. And we're going to wait. You may have to wait a little longer than you think you would. But eventually, though, it will then cycle through an Easter egg clip, an audio clip from one of the episodes of The Simpsons. If you're familiar, though, with The Simpsons, you're probably going to recognize the audio clip. I'm going to actually just bring the bass a little bit closer so you can hear it a little bit better.
If you like good food, good fun, and a whole lot of crazy crap on the walls, then come on down to Uncle Moe's Family Feed Bag. Now that's Mo like it. So bring the whole family, mom, dad, kids, no old people. They're not covered by our insurance. It's fun. And remember our guarantee. If I'm not smiling when your check comes, your meal's on me, Uncle Mo.
One thing you may have already noticed, too, is that even when you just make a regular prank call and you have the receiver off the hook for a while, it will also go to that same audio clip. You don't have to necessarily wait as long by pressing only just less buttons than the 7. So that's mode setting 1. If you switch it, though, to setting 2, which, again, you're just going to pick up the phone and just switch it over to 2. I want to make sure I've got... There we go. The phone's going to ring. Now, I wondered, how many times does the phone ring? It's not going to keep going. It rings around 7 or 8 times. After that, you're going to have to put the phone back down on the hook. But let's pick it up for right now.
Hello? Hi, I'm looking for a Mr. Ron. First name Mo? Mo, Ron? Moron. It's you little puke.
That's such a cool feature, the fact that they would have more than one settings. So again, if you put the phone back down on the receiver, we'll just leave it for right now. That's 2. It'll get to around 8 rings, and then finally it'll stop ringing. It won't be one of those cases where you have to worry that the phone's just going to continue to ring while it's sitting on your shelf. That's maybe about 5 or 6. It seems, though, to change. Sometimes I would count it out 8. Other times I count it out 6. But again, the neat thing about the phone is the fact it does do more than just the one thing. Initially, when I first found out that Jakks Pacific was going to be releasing a Moe's Tavern prank phone, I thought, okay, well, what's it really going to do? It's probably just going to be a case you're going to press a button on the front. It's going to then cycle through, 10 different phrases. And again, the phrases themselves, which again, we have to switch it back over to setting 1. So again, you pick up the receiver. 10 phrases. That's quite, first of all, a lot of phrases that I really was only thinking it was going to maybe be 5 or 6. But no, when I first found out that Jakks was going to be doing the phone, I thought, if anything, it was probably just going to be like you press a couple of buttons on the front, it's going to play a few things, and that's about it. Though the fact that they also add the additional dial tone, which is a nice touch, and that you can also switch it over to a mode setting too, where the phone calls you, is also fun as well. Now, we've only just cycled through, 2, 3 different audio clips. Again, we'll just press up the... And I was actually thinking to myself, once I have this, once I've finally picked it up and put it on my shelf, what am I really going to do with it? I think there's just an appeal to it. It's certainly not something that Super 7 I thought would have covered. Super 7 was really all more for the idea that you could release a Simpsons character that had multiple heads, tons of different accessories. Jakks Pacific sort of, again, thinking out the box, outside of not just doing the evil Krusty doll, which of course we will be looking at in one of the upcoming reviews this week, but also like Moe's Tavern phone. It's quirky. It's got something that really most Simpsons fans didn't think they necessarily needed, but then the moment you have it, you're kind of glad that you did. And hey, if you also want this to look a little more like the cartoon, what you can also do too is take the insert that had the phone inside the box. Granted, you're going to have all these unsightly holes and a little bit of tape on the side, but what you could do really as well is that you can take the phone, you could put it inside the box. You're going to have a little bit more tighter quarters to work with. It's going to be a little harder, obviously, to pull the receiver of the phone out, but at least it looks a little bit more like it belongs in Moe's Tavern than just it being by itself. I mean, it's a bit of a stupid, odd thing that a toy company like Jakks Pacific would even consider the idea of releasing a replica phone from Moe's Tavern. But I don't hate it. I had actually more fun with it than I expected I would. I mean, looking even just at the way they've designed the box, there was only a cutout around the 0, so I thought, okay, I'm just going to keep pressing 0 until finally it's played all the 10 audio clips from the episodes. But then you realize the phone does a lot more than just that. That's just the try me button option alone. So if you wanted to always just be able to go up and press a single button without having to dial anybody, then you could hear all the complete 10 audio clips. But then when you go and start switching over to modes, hey, how about that? You've got a mode setting 1, so you can actually pick up the receiver, hear a dial tone, complete a call of 7 digits, and you can actually reach out and speak to Moe himself. Or you can also as well switch it over to setting 2, where the phone starts calling you. That's a lot more than I thought the phone was going to be able to do. And for a $40 phone, I don't mind shelling out that kind of money for just a replica of the phone, whether it be always show accurate or not. Simpsons always wasn't great when it came to continuity. Sometimes, though, the phone would change at Moe's Tavern, but I think a red phone works the best. The receiver, though, is one thing I didn't really spend a whole lot of time talking about. The cord is a little on the short side, but providing, of course, you have the phone close enough to you, I don't think it's going to bother you all that much with all the other things the phone can actually do. Now, I did actually, as mentioned, get this at Entertainment Earth. Right now, they've got it selling for $39.99, so about a $40 phone. It's $5 less than some of the other guys are doing it right now. And as well, if you guys are interested and would like to get this phone, I could put the link down below in the video description. That same link will also save you an additional 10% on anything that's currently in stock, whether it be the Moe's Tavern phone or any of the other Simpsons things that Jakks Pacific is doing right now. Speaking of other Jakks Pacific things, I just happened also not only just to order the Moe Tavern phone, but also from Entertainment Earth, I, in that same order, also ordered the evil Krusty doll, which we will be looking at in the next review. If you guys did enjoy this video, do it a solid, throw it a like. You guys want to stick around for more so? I hope so. Like I said, we're going to be having a look at the evil Krusty doll. That's going to be coming right around the corner from this video, so making sure you're coming back to this channel regularly. As always, thanks for watching. See you guys next time.